I'm a doctor. Specifically, I'm a specialist in cardiology called a cardiac electrophysiologist. We are cardiologists who've done several years of extra training to specialize in a very specific area of the heart, which is the heart rhythm. So very simply, everybody hears about heart attacks. That's what I call the plumbing system of the heart. Your heart has heart arteries that supply blood to your heart, and when they get blocked up, you have a heart attack damage, chest pain damage, and a heart attack. So cardiologists specialize in that. But some of us have done extra years of training and are not just regular cardiologists. We've actually specialized in the other system of the heart, which is called the electrical system. That's the electricity in the walls of your heart that actually makes your heart move, because your heart is a pump and it has to pump blood for your body. And so therefore there's electricity that makes it move. So there's kind of a plumbing system and an electrical system. We're the ones who do pacemakers, defibrillators, ablations to cure people of abnormal heart rhythm. So I am an electrophysiologist. If you want to understand Afib at a very basic level, just understand we have a normal source of electricity that controls our heart, that we're born with, that is supposed to be controlling our heart. And when the normal source controls our heart, it makes our heart beat at the speed your brain wants. You know, if you're sitting there doing nothing, your heart rate's 60, 70 beats per minute. When you run and exercise, it speeds up. When you relax and sleep, it slows down. This is all controlled by that normal source. That's why you want that normal source to be in control, because it makes your heart beat at the normal speed. An abnormal rhythm like Afib is just another source of electricity, an abnormal source of electricity that actually forms, for various reasons, in other walls of your heart, and it's not even supposed to be there. And these weird abnormal cells, whether it be Afib or one of the other 13 different abnormal heart rhythms, they have a mind of their own. They're not there from birth, they're not controlled by your brain the way the normal cells are, and they can do whatever they want. They could sleep and do nothing, you wouldn't even know they're there. Or they can randomly wake up whenever they feel like it, and when they wake up, they start to send out electricity at whatever speed they want, not what you want or your brain wants, and it's usually something too fast. And now it becomes a fight between the two sources of electricity. And guess what? When you have two sources of electricity fighting for control of your heart, the faster source always wins. Like two people arguing, the louder person overrides the softer person and takes over control of the conversation, unfortunately. So these abnormal cells wake up at some rapid speed. They hijack control of your heart away from the normal source. They tell your heart to speed up, and now your heart's racing. That's why people with Afib will often come into my office for consult, and they'll be like, I'm just sitting there, my heart just starts racing as if I'm running. Yeah, they're not running, but their heart is speeding up like it's running, even though they're physically not running, and so that causes symptoms. The symptoms of exercise: rapid heart rates, palpitations, shortness of breath, tiredness, lightheadedness, chest discomfort. Their heart's running, but they aren't. And then at some point, the cells get tired of being awake, and they can randomly wake up, they can randomly go back to sleep. And when they go back to sleep, your normal rhythm cells are the only cells awake. They just take back over control of the heart, and now you're back in normal rhythm, at a normal speed, feeling fine. If the abnormal cells are still in the walls of your heart, they're just sleeping. They're not gone, they're just sleeping, and they can therefore wake up again in the future and take back over control.
Actually, I was watching a Yankees game one night around 10 o'clock at night, and I actually jumped in the air to celebrate a home run from A-Rod, okay, Alex Rodriguez. And when I landed, I just felt abnormal, like something wasn't right. My excitement wouldn't actually go away. It was my heart rate was just increasing and increasing, and I felt that there was something was a little odd here. And I took my pulse, and I realized that my pulse was just off the charts. I couldn't keep count of how fast my pulse was going.
It's just very important that people understand this, simply because it's happening and developing so much with tens of millions of people in the world having it. It's almost like this mini epidemic that people are experiencing, but they just don't really understand it. So I feel it's useful to get that information out there to dispel all this misinformation that's out there, or lack of information. With modern medicine, they just don't really give you very much time to spend with patients. And so people are getting more and more rushed visits. People don't have enough time to spend with patients. And so therefore, it's just more and more important that as patients, I think, you need to advocate for yourself, you need to educate yourself. Because a lot of times patients come to me and they'll say, I've seen multiple doctors, I've seen multiple specialists, and everyone's suggesting something different. And everyone just spends like 10 to 15 minutes with me, and I still don't really understand my problem or what my treatment options are. But if their local doctors are not able or unwilling or unable to spend that time to give them that kind of clarity, then people just end up doing sort of whatever they're told, and sometimes it's the right thing for them, and sometimes it's not necessarily the right thing for them. Not everybody, but there are some people in my field who realize that they make more money to do a procedure than to not do a procedure, and they tend to bias towards pushing people to a procedure because it sort of makes them more money, and that's not necessarily right. So the right answer is, sitting down with the patient, explaining their condition in ways that they understand properly, even though it takes time, and helping them come up with the treatment that's best for them.
He sat me down for an extended period of time. We probably had a good 45-minute talk. And it's probably one of the longest times I've ever sat down with a physician. And that talk walked me through every detail of what AFib is and what I understood, what all the myths of what I thought I was dealing with. And my life has profoundly been changed since that talk, because I actually feel much more freer. I don't walk around with the burden of thinking that every hiccup or everything is going to be the last breath I take. I've been educated very clearly now.
I had a bunch of questions. So, when we went there, pretty much every question I wanted to ask you, Dad ended up answering it when he was telling us about it. It was the most succinct way of explaining what options you have, what are the pros and cons of each treatment option, and then he took his time to tell us about what he would recommend for my mom.
I do spend a lot of time with my patients to really make sure they understand their condition at a very basic level and any procedures I may want to do. And routinely I spend for AFib, being such a complicated subject with so many potential different options, and for me to really explain it in a thorough way and give them the pros and cons of different treatment options, I oftentimes easily spend over an hour and a half to explain all this to patients. I may not get paid for the amount of time that I spend with patients, but I think it's the right thing to do. Because it was my family member, I would want them to have that information. So patients would say, this is great, but I just can't remember all the information you gave me. I mean, you spent more time than anybody, but it's just too much information. I did create this YouTube channel because originally it was me wanting to reinforce all the things I talked about in the office with my patients. So if a new consult comes in and I spend an hour and a half explaining lots of things and their entire medical condition, specifically as it pertains to the heart rhythm, and they're like, this is great, but I can't remember everything. So originally I created it to reinforce what I talked to with them, but many of the videos seem to have gone viral, and that's good because I do want people to get this information, and if they don't always get it from their local doctors, then this is just another avenue for them to get that. Common topics that I discuss on my channel, well, I go over a lot of basic stuff, such as what is an abnormal heart rhythm, what is atrial fibrillation, what are the problems you need to worry about with AFib, how are the different treatments, comparing the different kinds of treatments, going over the pros and cons, but then also, what are lifestyle things that you can do to affect this? What are lifestyle things that are just healthy for your heart in general? Yes, I do focus it on AFib and the heart rhythm, but as a specialist in cardiology, I'm still wanting people to have overall heart health, even plumbing as well as electrical. So we do have videos about lifestyle that's healthy for your heart as well as AFib. I'd say the most common questions I get asked are really pertaining to AFib because just so many people have it, and mostly it's, Well, is it going to kill me? Is it a rhythm that could just instantly kill me? What are the main ways of treating it? What is it? How does it actually work? You know, how do I get it? Was I born with it, or did it kind of develop, later in life? Those are the kinds of questions people ask me the most, and those are found questions that I have created foundational videos on to answer.
It is a very popular video. I think there's 8 myths of Afib there. That's I think it has something like 700 and something thousand views on it. That video itself, the amount of views speaks for itself. It's educating people, including myself, on what to be concerned about, but also not what to be concerned about, which is just as important. There are some myths that make people scared. And quite frankly, your dad has helped people understand what they're dealing with, and that fear is something that people can handle in a more appropriate way, in an educated way.
So I happened to just was sitting there and just searched it, and I got his video, and I'm watching with my son to see what Afib was, because he's starting to get into a little bit into medicine and learning about it. So I was like, oh, let's see what my grandma has. And the way, even he understood what it was happening, because I think Dr. Scott has a really nice way of just breaking down that information to make it simple for people to digest. I think that's a pretty good gift to have.
The good thing about YouTube is videos will be there even after I'm gone, even after I'm retired. And Afib's not a problem that's just going to go away. And so therefore, I guess, other than just reaching as many people as possible, the knowledge that if I can reach a good number of people while I'm practicing medicine and still continue to help people even after I've retired or died, then to me, that's the kind of long-term success I'm hoping for.